Hi, this is Pat McDonald, your host for Banter and Beans, where we're asking the question, what's brewing in Montpelier? And joining me today in studio is Lauren Parker from the North Branch Cafe. Welcome.
Hi, Pat. Thank
Hi.
you.
So nice to meet you.
Thank you. Same here.
I'm sure I've seen you around, but...
we're both traveling in the same footsteps.
Exactly. So could you tell us a little bit about yourself and your business?
Sure. So my husband and I opened North Branch Cafe and North Branch Tech Services in 2013. We decided to share the space that was once the Capitol Copy. Mm-hmm. And so I had the part of it on the river, he had the part of it next to what was Asiana House, and he had the basement. So he had about a third of the space, and I had 2/3. We decided to do this well into our nearing retirement, thinking we want to do something else besides our business. I had been in healthcare, and he had been working for various IT places. And Montpelier was the perfect place for us to do it. We've lived here since 1989. Although I did have a branch of my business in Montpelier, most of my days were spent outside of Montpelier, supporting different medical offices and hospital groups throughout the region. So I didn't really have a direct connection with downtown Montpelier, and felt that having a tea shop, which was my life dream, was to own a tea shop and have no woes, no stress, no worries, because it's tea. As we found that wasn't the case.
As a customer, I find it so relaxing in there.
Yeah.
And your staff is, I know tea this much.
Yeah.
And they talk to you and they suggest teas, and it's a wonderful place to hide.
I have to say that we almost always have had the best staff imaginable.
Yeah,
and our group right now is incredible. They love tea, they love people, they love the cafe, very loyal to our goals.
That's great.
And it's really nice.
I think we've almost answered the question, what makes your business so special?
Yeah.
But what do you think makes it stand out? And I even feel comfortable going in by myself.
Well, it's interesting because when we got there, it was gutted. The space was gutted. So we had to come up with our own design of how it was to be laid out. And my daughter's an artist, and she is the one who I give credit for making it feel incredibly cozy and comfortable, feeling more of a home atmosphere than, and the fact that we're quiet and peaceful, and yet you can also have some rowdy conversations, which we do have, people do have.
Yeah, I've had a few meetings in there, sitting in the back, and I'm sure we've gotten a little loud.
And that's what it's about. That room especially can be loud or quiet, whatever you need it to be.
That's great.
Yeah. So what I think is special besides the atmosphere, which I'm really, really proud of, is that when we opened, we wanted to have really good food at a price that anybody could afford. So our food is all local where possible, organic if it's available, and really good. Yeah. My kids both have celiac, so I probably shouldn't say that. So having good desserts, sweets that are gluten-free were really important, because I know that it's a problem around everywhere, that it's hard to find good gluten-free desserts. So we do have a fair selection of gluten-free, vegan, special needs eating kind of things. And we work with local bakers. We have 4 local sweets bakers, and then we work with 3 savory bakers. And we've started making some of our own. We have a kitchen, a prep area, so we have started making things like we do flatbread sandwiches, and we make wraps, and we do different things.
It's expanded. It sounds like, hasn't it?
It has.
That's
lots of different things. We after COVID, we switched from being mostly finger food to being things that people could take home, because it was mostly a takeout environment. So we started making spring rolls and sushi, vegetarian sushi, no fish, and then we added, just lots of things that didn't exist anywhere else. Whatever we could make in our space that didn't exist already in town, we would figure out how to do it. Our menu is eclectic. It is all over the place. It's not, what kind of place is this? It's, look around, see. You'll find something that
whatever you want it to be.
Whatever day of the week you come in, you might have something different.
You mentioned COVID, of course, and one of the reasons that we're having businesses come on the show is we're back, because we've been through hell and back, I think, in most cases. You had COVID, you had were you impacted by both floods?
Yeah,
Were you?
three floods, yeah.
Oh, three?
Three floods,
oh,
yeah.
Well, please tell us what
So-
happened and how'd you get back on your feet?
So
Or-
I wouldn't say we're on our feet. I
Ah.
would say we have an ongoing GoFundMe because on weeks that we have good customers, foot traffic,
Yep.
we're okay. But there are many weeks since last January that have been very difficult. So we are just trying to figure out how to keep going, how to
Wow.
keep making it go. Because I love the place, feel like it has a real place in our community. Our customers, our local customers are unbelievable. Our
Yep.
travelers are unbelievable. So we just feel that there is a need for us to be there. So we have to figure out how to do it. You know, the biggest issue is staffing. We have this wonderful staff,
Yeah.
but if there's no revenue,
Yeah.
like
you can't-
last on Halloween,
Yeah.
we didn't earn as much as we paid in payroll
Oh,
that
wow.
day. So it didn't cover food, didn't cover rent, didn't cover electric. So like you can't have many days like that.
So obviously the crowd is still not back.
No.
No.
In no way.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I spoke to City Council about this because, you know, our downtown was designed for a population of 20,000 on Monday through Friday. And I don't know the numbers, but I can't imagine it's more than 3,000 at this point.
Oh, that's terrible.
There's literally nobody at the State House
Yep.
or any of the state office buildings. There are some businesses that are back hybrid 2 days a week, maybe. But the foot traffic on State Street and Main Street is scary to me. It isn't to everybody. Not everybody. I would say most businesses feel it, but some have a larger online presence, or they have, you know, just a regular clientele
Right.
that just comes to them no matter what. When you're in food services, it's very, you know, unpredictable because you never really know who's coming, but you have to be staffed for the most.
Well,
and-
we've got to get these folks back
Yeah.
because there's so much happening in Montpelier, and your place is just so special.
Thank you.
It's lovely.
I appreciate that.
What about the support that you've gotten, I think, from the community? I know
Yeah.
this is Montpelier Alive's 25th anniversary,
Yeah.
which I think I watch Katie Trouts and what she does. I mean, they work so hard to keep that momentum going.
It's
and
amazing.
Montpelier has won so many awards for downtown.
Yeah.
We've got to get back to that.
Yeah, and this is what most of us are, not most of us, many of us are afraid of, is
Yeah.
that we've lost a couple businesses already, with a couple more talking about closing. And I myself could close at any time just because there's only so much that you can manage. I don't expect to, but it's possible.
Right.
You know, like if every day turned out to be a bad day, then we would not have staff.
Do you feel you've gotten the support you should have gotten from the state, from the feds? I know
Yeah.
FEMA's gotten some bad
Yeah.
reports of late.
Well, FEMA doesn't help businesses. So that was a surprise for all of us at the flood because when the flood first happened, everybody was saying, including, you know, Bernie, and everybody was saying, oh, FEMA's coming, we're going to help you. So it works for residences and for municipalities, and for businesses, not at all.
And that's the SBA, right?
Then it's the SBA, but you know, most of us still have loans from COVID. So taking on another loan is a commitment.
Yep.
And you have to feel like you can pay off the first one, let alone
Sure.
the second.
Right.
So so I think that, you know, for us with the flood, you recognize, you know, the stairs, you have to go up three stairs to get
right.
into our space.
Right.
That saved us during the flood
Right.
because we didn't have to gut our first floor.
Now, you said your husband was in the basement or had
He
the
had
basement?
he
Did
had left in January, and they were up on 2 Spring Street. They also flooded and had to move out of their space. But for us, we lost all of our refrigeration. So we lost 7 refrigerators and freezers. We lost all of our furniture, all of our backup furniture, backup equipment. Lots of things that we thought, oh, this will be okay in water. But what we weren't counting on was polluted water. And once the oil and gas and sewage got involved in the water, you had to get rid of everything. So literally everything that we had in our basement was thrown out.
And they've asked you to put things up higher, but do you have space there? I'm thinking about it in my head. There's not much space to put
no.
big furnaces and other
No.
things.
There's nowhere to put anything
Yeah.
in the cafe. So, you know, we'd have to suspend things from the ceiling in order to get
Ooh.
any kind, and that would not work. You know, obviously,
attractive.
that's not going to work. So what we have what our plan was, is when we replaced our refrigeration units. We
Right.
bought them in a footprint that we could get them up the stairs. Because the first flood, the refrigeration units couldn't make it up the stairs. The only way we could get them out of the basement was to send them out the back basement entrance that we came in, but then they would have to be out in the parking lot, in which case they would have all ended up in the river.
Wow.
So we just left them in the basement. You could watch the video of them banging into things. They knocked all of our electric, and they'd knocked down, they floated around, We had plenty of time with that flood to get things, as much as we thought we could get upstairs.
Right.
The cafe was packed with boxes and
bet.
everything. My office space is also down there. So, but what we do now is we know exactly what we need to do, unless it's a horrific flood, like the December flood last year and the July flood this year. Both of them, we got about 6 to 9 inches in our basement again. So you have to go through the whole cleanup again, but we had raised everything and taken things upstairs.
My long-term concern is always mold, and I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, no, we've got that under control.
You've got that under control.
Yeah, we did, the first time around, we learned what we needed to do for that, so we've been very, very good about.
And were you able to get enough workers? I know a lot of people that needed their floors replaced, they had to wait a long time because
service people.
Yeah, they were backed up.
I am so fortunate. We have a man who does all of our work for us. I talked to my landlord, Jesse Jacobs, and I said, you've got all these buildings that you have to worry about. I've got this guy.
Yeah.
Can I just have him do the work, and then I'll just reduce it from my rent? Because we didn't actually close for the flood of 23.
Really?
I mean, for a couple of days, we were totally closed while cleaning. But because we didn't lose anything on our main floor, operations floor, we could continue to do everything that we had been doing. So we were providing food and iced tea for people that were working in town. We were just walking around with pitchers of iced tea, pouring them drinks.
Good for
There
you.
was no business, obviously. And I think that the hardest part for us, we did lose. So you asked a question about do we feel fair compensation? We felt disappointed by the state coming through with what they came through. We expected it to be more than it was, and I don't know what their parameters were. It took so long to get it. I filed it 7 times, and
Really?
I don't think I would have done it again. I was so frustrated. So we ended up getting, I think it was $5,000, and nowhere near nowhere near. Even in our case, which is, we had much less damage than like a restaurant like Positive Pie was in the hundreds of thousands. But even for us, that felt. It felt not great.
Yeah.
We got more from Montpelier
It doesn't
Alive.
sound it to me, and I'm not involved like you are.
Yeah,
but
it was
that doesn't-
disappointing to say the least. So I don't think that went as well as we thought it would. And the governor said, and I like the governor, don't get me wrong, but he said, this is just a start, there'll be more, we know it's not enough. And nothing else came until this year, in which case everybody was denied if they'd gotten it before. So this feels a little disappointing.
A lot of discussion needs to happen
Yeah,
with the legislature.
it feels
when they come back.
disappointing. Yeah, they said maybe in January there'll be something.
So
but-
what can we do to help you?
Yeah, well, from our perspective, what we need is more people in town. Montpelier is a great city. It is. There's so much vitality. People come from all over, and because we get people when they're on their relaxing time. And what we hear from them is how much they love Montpelier. They come back because the first time they came, they thought, oh, it's the capital, let's go here. But now they come back regularly on their way from Boston to Montreal. They always stop and they say, it's because we love this city. There's a lot to do here. There's a nice variety of shops. There's a great variety of restaurants. And it's a beautiful town.
Yeah.
So we need more people.
Good.
And I know Montpelier Alive is really working on that. That's
yeah.
what I wanted to respond to your statement about them too, because we would have been lost without Montpelier Alive, starting with with COVID and all the way through the floods. If we hadn't had Montpelier Alive,
And they have so many wonderful things planned for the holiday season.
Yes.
And going forward, a lot of energy in that.
A lot of energy.
I think it's Katie and one other.
and Carolyn.
And
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
They make me tired just talking to them, but
Yeah.
they're fabulous.
They are really
They really
great.
are.
They are really
so,
great.
well, we hope this message gets out.
Yeah.
And
People, please come.
yeah,
And bring your friends from from the towns around. Like we have so many great customers who, they know that we need this, but people can't come every day into your shop.
But it's a great place to just get away.
It is a
you
great
go sit in the
space.
back in a nice big comfy chair and have a cup of tea. Seriously.
That is what I'm most proud of about the space. Is it's great for small groups, for individuals, for larger groups. When we first opened, we were 99% women because of the tea and the wine.
Right.
And then over time, like I would say now, we're 50% men because men realize, oh, this is it. Maybe it feels a little bit, mellow, but it's a very nice place to have a meeting.
Maybe you need that by about 2 in the afternoon. Mellow sounds good. That's great. Well, thank you so much for joining us
thank you
tonight.
for doing this.
And Lauren, we'll hope people will listen and buy local, folks.
Yeah,
come on
buy
down.
local.
Thank you very
come
much
to
for coming
Montpelier.
on.
Thank you, Pat. I
We'll see you.
appreciate it.
Thank you. This is Pat McDonald, your host for Banter and Beans, and we'll be right back.